All right, here we are with the final Civ 6 game update. April 2021. There's going to be tons of stuff in here, tons of leader updates as well. So, this is a free update for everyone. So, if you guys own Civ 6, you will get this update. It has a lot of unique units that are coming. Not unique units, units in the tech tree that are coming, as well as some upgrades to previous units. So without further ado, let's get into it. This is a final free update with this season. It comes with new units, new maps, and several balance adjustments that are pretty good in my opinion. Gameplay fixes based on player feedback. All right, let's see. So beginning off, you can buy the new Frontier Pass if you want to here. I'll have this website linked in the description below, by the way. New features, new units. We got the Trebuchet, perfect. This is a medieval catapult upgrade. It's a siege unit, of course. Upgrades into the bombard, so it fits right in the middle there. And it cannot move and attack on the same turn unless they've earned the expert crew promotion. Jeez, that was hard for me to say for some reason at the beginning there. Anyways, that's going to be pretty cool to have. That kind of makes it in line and gives you something to do between the medieval and in the medieval era there. Man-at-Arms is a medieval swordsman upgrade. It is a melee class promotion and upgrades into the musketman. These unique units will now upgrade into this. So the Roman Legion, the Memba, Macedons, Persias, Maoris, and the Gaelic unique units there. And is now replacing the Berserker, Samurai, and the Georgian unit too. So these units will still be in the game, I'm pretty sure. Unique units now replacing this unit. I thought I read that backwards. And then line infantry, the industrial era musketman upgrade is another melee class, and it upgrades into infantry. And let's see, the Conquistador and Janissary will upgrade into this, and then it is being replaced by the French unique unit and the English redcoats as well. Also, four new maps. I'm actually kind of interested to try out this Earth huge map. I tried out an Earth map one time, but I just thought it was too small for my taste, for the map size I was playing. But they also have a Mediterranean large map, and then True Start for both of them too. So that'll be really neat to play. New game updates. So this is going to be the big section here. Lots of leader and civ updates. So let's go ahead. This is all in alphabetical order, it looks like. And I'm going to touch on the big ones. I'm going to probably maybe skip over some of the smaller ones. So the Aztecs, their unique district building gives you +1 culture and adds 2+2 culture for Rise and Fall Gathering Storm. Canada now yields a mines and lumber mills on snow, tundra, and tundra hills to +2 production instead of the +1, I believe it was. Increases the yields of camps on these terrains to +2 food, and then farms provide +2 food on those terrains. China now completes a wonder. They will get a random Eureka and inspiration from the era of the wonder. It used to be just the ancient era, I believe, so this is a nice change. It gets you going through those wonders throughout the rest of your game. France, the Chateau gives you +2 culture and +1 gold at base, and then +1 culture for each adjacent wonder, +2 with flight, +2 for gold for being on a river, and then must be adjacent to a bonus and luxury resource. That was already a thing. There, Georgia, this is a pretty good one. So they no longer receive 100% faith for 10 turns after declaring a proctor war, but instead the combat victories will provide the 50% faith of the combat strength of the defeated unit. So if you guys know, this is kind of like Gorgo's ability, where if they defeat another unit, they actually get 50% of the culture of the unit that they defeat. So kind of like that, gives them the ability to generate faith more passively, and this is a pretty niche ability, and that usually doesn't happen too often, so that's kind of nice. And there's a policy card that gives you that anyway, so it's not very useful. Germany now has a start bias of rivers. That'll be really good for industrial zones around dams and aqueducts and all of that fun stuff. Greece, this is actually pretty cool. They will get +1 combat strength for every military policy slot, which is actually going to pair very well with them, especially with the update to the monarchy government, which gives you an extra military policy slot anyway. So that will be very helpful there and gives you some extra combat strength. So you can have, I think, in your tier 2 government, you could have +3 or 4 combat strength, and if you have more wildcard policy slots through like a Forbidden Palace or something, you can get up to +5, +6, no matter what on your units, and be a very high combat strength, be a force to be reckoned with because of all those military policies you have enabled. The Inca actually have quite a few changes. They get +1 production to mountains when the game reaches the industrial era, an additional +1. The terrace farm now gives +1 housing. It's a bump from 1/2 a housing. And then mountains are now a tier 2 start bias. Japan's going to start near the coast tiles now. Khmer has some different changes with the cities with aqueducts. We receive +1 amenities for entertainment and +1 faith for every population. Their farms also provide +2 food if adjacent to an aqueduct and +1 faith if adjacent to a holy site. Monasteries of the King. Holy sites granted a major adjacency bonuses with the rivers, a culture bomb, food equal to his adjacency bonus, and +2 housing if on a river. So, holy sites on rivers are going to be huge for the Khmer now. And they also get the Prasat, gives +6 faith, +0.5 culture for every population, and receive +10 tourism per turn in cities with population of 10. Cities with 20 are granted double this number, so you want to really go tall with the Khmer now, which is actually pretty fun. Congo, relics, artifacts, sculptures now give +1 faith, but they remove the Great Riders from his additional Great People points. Jeez, I am not saying things well today. All right, Korea. Mines now have +1 science for each adjacent Seowon. There's a little bug there where it was only the one Seowon. So if you had 2 Seowons next to a mine, only one of them would have an adjacency bonus, and you'd only get +1 science. Now, if there's 2 Seowons next to a mine, you'll receive the +2 science like you probably should have in the first place. Farms now receive +1 food for each adjacent Seowon, so same thing there. Mapuche now has new cities with established governor provide +5% culture, +5% production, and +10% combat experience towards all units. These numbers are tripled in cities not founded by the Mapuche, so going to war with them is highly suggested there. All cities with the 9 tiles of a city with your governor gain +40 loyalty per turn. Alright, the Swift Hawk, +10 combat strength when fighting free cities or civilizations that are in a golden or heroic age. Defeating any enemy within the borders of this enemy city causes that city to lose 20 loyalty and 40 loyalty if that person is in a heroic or golden age. Okay. And then this receives +1 production. Okay. Maya, this is actually a pretty good one. They had some issues with farms not having enough production, and you wouldn't have enough production in your cities, and you would be clustering around your cities, so it was kind of hard to get enough production in those cities. So now you get +1 production for each adjacent farm adjacent to an observatory. The non-capital cities within 6 hexes now also receive a free builder when the city is founded. And some start bias changes here, where I think the main thing is that there's going to be some hills that are provided in their start biases. So that's going to be the main thing there. Mongolia, not big change. Netherlands, not a big change. Nubia, this is actually a pretty good one. It's kind of a nerf, actually. So they now only have +30% production towards rainy units, where it used to be 50%. But the Nubian pyramid has an increase to +2 faith and +2 food. I think it was one faith and 1 food before. Ottomans, the Grand Vizier, you get +1 governor title when gunpowder technology is unlocked. That's kind of nice because they do have that unique governor that you will probably need more You will probably need more governor titles for it, but it's hard to get those governor titles, especially with the new changes they've made to things like secret societies and everything like that, where you used to get a ton more, but now you're kind of dialed back. And Niter is now a more start bias for them. All right, Poland. Russia has kind of a nerf, reduced the number of free tiles in the city to 5. It was at 8. And then the Lavra moved Great Rider points to the Shrine, Great Artist to the Temple, and Great Musician to the Tier 3 Worship Building. So that means that now the Lavra is not as strong. You won't have Great Riders just hanging out the entire time. So that's kind of probably a good thing for that. Scythia, their Kurgan, gets +1 faith, +3 gold now, and then +1 faith for each adjacent pasture, becoming +2 faith with stirrups. And it now provides tourism after flight. Spain is probably the one that had the biggest overhaul, and it probably needed it too. They now may make fleets in armadas with mercantilism instead of nationalism and mobilization. Their trade routes receive +3 gold, +2 faith, +1 production. Trade routes between multiple continents receive triple these numbers, so trading internationally is going to be huge. And then cities not on the original capital receive +5 production plus 25% production towards districts and a builder when it is founded. Now this does compound with Ancestral Hall, so that's something to keep note. So if you found a city not on your original capital, you will get 2 builders with Ancestral Hall rather than just 1. Inquisitors can remove heresy 1 extra time. That's nice. Let's see. All real sets. Missions get +2 faith, +2 faith additionally, +1 food, +1 production if on a continent other than your capital, and then +1 science for each adjacent campus, holy site, and then +2 science once cultural heritage is discovered. The loyalty bonus is still only for Rise and Fall and Gathering Storm only, and then remove the coast start bias there. But it did add a geothermal one, so you should actually be able to get some good campuses and be able to trade cross-continentally very easily now with them. Samaria has +5 combat strength to units when they are allied and are at war with a common foe. Vietnam, the Than now does not provide any great general points, so you have to get it through the upgrades to the building. Zulu their buildings now receive +2 gold and +1 science. And now the one thing that changed for governors is Maksha's ability. Maksha's ability Bishop now instead gives you +2 faith for every specialty district in the city. It tended to have more of a niche kind of thing, and they wanted everyone to be able to use Maksha rather than it be pretty much the last governor most people chose. I know it was one of those ones that I didn't choose very often unless I had a free governor title and didn't have really anything else to put it into. So now it actually would be useful for even if you do not have a religion, you can still get faith and purchase things like if you are going for a cultural victory and need to get out some rock bands or naturalists. That's a good thing for Maksha now. Next, we're going to get on to unit balance update. The melee class has the swordsman. Their combat strength was decreased to 35, was 36. Infantry was increased to 75, and unique units were changed as well to kind of model around what the swordsman and infantry changed to as well. Let's see. Not going to get too many into the details of many of these unique units. Range, the machine gun is the melee combat strength is increased to 70 and 85 for the ranged combat strength. This means it's a little more beefy when getting attacked. Now siege catapults were increased to 25 and 30, was 23 and 35, so it's melee combat strength is a little bit higher, so it's better for defending now, so you can risk putting it out against a warrior or a couple slingers or anything like that. Let's see. Bombard has done the same thing. Slight increase to the melee combat strength, but not the ranged. And same with rocket artillery. It's actually the range that got increased, not the melee. Anti-cavalry combat strength for the pikemen was increased to 45, and then AT crew to 75. And I think they've been going up by 10s for everything. So, like, say if we come back here to the swordsman, the warrior is 25, the swordsman is 35, and then it increases by 10 from there. And I think they're doing that for the same with ranged, and then the same for sieged, cavalry, and light cavalry, and all of that. I think they're doing intervals as they go up. So, like the Corsair changes to 46 was 44, and then they balanced all the unique units thereafter. Heavy cavalry is kind of the same thing. Let's see. Ranged cavalry, not much there. The melee combat strength for the Saka horse archers for Scythia have now increased from 15 to 20, which is nice. And then now they can upgrade to the crossbowmen, so they can actually be used mid-game pretty well, instead of having to wait all the way for field cannons. And then the Crouching Tiger has its production cost a little bit lower. Navy melee units, destroyers now increased to 85 instead of 80. Same, we got a increase from, actually a decrease in range combat strength, but an increase in melee combat strength for the missile cruiser. And then naval raiders have some changes too. U-boats no longer require oil for Germany. Warrior monk has its combat strength increase even more, so it actually might be viable to do warrior monks. Sometimes they are pretty cool to mess around with, but now it might be even more viable to mess around with them. General gameplay fixes. This is gonna be awesome. Allied civs will no longer be shown as espionage destinations. I actually really like this change. I had a lot of issues with like that I could see which cities I could spy on, but well, yes and no, because then I could see which civilizations I wouldn't want to be allied with anymore. So I don't know if I like this change. I take it back. We'll see. All right. Let's see. Buildings with overrides, like the Alchemical Society, which overrides the university, will now correctly receive yields intended for the base building. Okay, so I didn't know that was a thing. Idle governors must be addressed or before advancing to the next turn. Okay, so if you don't have a governor assigned somewhere, it will tell you to, which is kind of nice. It kind of reminds you, a subtle reminder there. Let's see, anything else we want to go look at? Bonus resources would not be removed from a tile after a building was built on it. That, I think, was just a glitch where the bonus resource note icon was still showing, so that's not too big of a deal. Alright, tourism update. So, cultural domination term clarified in cultural victory sections of world rankings and Civilpedia. Cultural domination provides ongoing effects. International trade routes to foreign cities you culturally dominate provide +4 gold. Okay. Spy missions in foreign cities you culturally dominate are +50% faster to complete. Alright. And then your city exerts 25% more loyalty pressure on foreign cities you culturally dominate. That's actually pretty strong. That'd be pretty cool to have. I'm looking forward to this. This will be nice for culture games. There's some Red Death changes. Ethiopia pack. This is actually kind of neat one. I didn't know that this is now a thing. Vampires no longer receive the benefits of ignoring walls during city attacks when adjacent to siege towers. So now you can't really use the siege towers with the vampires, so you actually have to use your other units. So it kind of nerfs vampires just a tad. Let's see. Some minor fixes on some issues. Nothing too critical here. A nerf to Sinbad here, so they reduced the rewards from naval raids from 300 to 200, and then his journeys rewards from 500 to 400. let's see, is there anything else? And if you guys want to look at any of these fixes for anything, go ahead and go down to the link in the description below. I'll have this website there. That way you can see for yourself if there's an issue you saw personally, that you could actually go and see if it has been fixed or not. Let's see, for UI changes, there's really not too much here. And then it gets into console and everything like that. So console, PS4, PS4 and Switch, the Switch, and Xbox One, and PS4 changes. So a lot to unpack here. A lot of changes, especially to the individual leaders and everything like that. And the balance changes to the units is going to be huge, actually. I think it's going to make the game feel more progressive. There's this little lull in the mid game where you feel like you have to jump up to that next the next tier of units, and it takes a little while to get there. So this will help you in that little medieval era be able to make those units and still feel like you're progressing through your game. Now, it doesn't really answer a lot of the late game issues where you're just kind of turn by turn just going through really quickly, but that's fine. I like all these changes because it helps out with the beginning stages when you have a Civ that's very old that they have not updated until now. But now a lot of these are more viable, and it's going to make some small game changes pretty unique. Small game changes that will lead to some pretty unique gameplay, which I really enjoy. So, like, I think I'm going to be excited for Georgia. This is going to be a nice one. It makes them not the worst Civ ever. And then things like Canada, that'll help out a ton too. I'm also looking forward to, like, the Inca and Khmer. This will be really cool to see. As well as Mapuche, Maya, and also Spain. Spain seems really nice. It's almost on par with Portugal now, which is actually pretty cool. So, that has been the look at the last patch for Civilization 6 for the new Frontier Pass this season and everything like that. It's not going to be the last patch for Civ 6, but it is the last patch for this season. So, with that said, we are going to be now playing some Civ 6. So if you guys want to stick around and watch that, go ahead and stick around for that. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and be sure to give a like and subscribe. And if you guys ever want to watch me play Civ 6, I actually stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. Central over on my Twitch. If you want to go give me a follow, that'll be down in the description below. And with that said, I'm going to leave and go play some Civ 6 myself. So, hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.